Over the last 23 years of riding a scooter and over 15 being pro, I've had 5 signature decks that I'm really proud of. And this was a video that was requested by a few comments in the last few weeks. I figured I'd make this video, especially since I'm still healing from the hip strain that I'm dealing with. But I'm gonna show you all 5 of my signature decks and tell you how I made them happen and the story behind each deck. Let's get into it. Starting off with my first signature deck I've ever had. This was something that was insanely special for me. This was one of my old sponsors, Phoenix, that's sadly not around anymore, but this deck brought a ton of memories. First off, here it is. This is the Reventan deck, it's called. I had it in a anodized silver because I knew, originally I wanted black, but I knew that when you beat up a deck, when you grind on it, it actually turns, you scrape the paint off, and most decks are aluminum, if not all decks are aluminum, so that color is gonna come off. And I figured if the deck is anodized silver, from far away, after you beat the hell out of the deck, it wouldn't look too bad. So this is the deck right here. You can see my name in the bottom with the globe, which is kind of funny that I have the globe twice. Once on my first deck and then the other one on my most recent. But we'll get into that. This is a really small deck. This is 19.5 long by 4.25 wide. Very small now. Back in the day, this actually felt pretty good because it had some concave. You can see the front, I have the Statue of Liberty with a bandana on it. And this deck actually meant a lot because 1, it was my first signature deck. 2, there was a moment where I actually had a major knee surgery. So I was out for a while and I actually couldn't afford to pay for the knee surgery. I could have afforded a cheaper knee surgery that wouldn't have gotten me back 100%. But the only way I wanted to move forward was to get the good knee surgery. So this deck actually helped pay for that surgery. So I really appreciate this deck and the people that supported me by buying this deck back in the day, because without the release of this deck and those buying it, I wouldn't be able to afford fixing my knee. That was a very hefty bill. It was 3 times more than I negatively had in the bank account. So I really appreciate everybody from back in the day. That means a lot, and this deck definitely has a lot of memory. Now my second signature deck ever is going to be my first Envy signature deck. Now this was probably maybe 9 years ago now I got this deck, and I stuck to the silver for that same reason. I knew that when you grind a deck and you beat it up, it's gonna still look decent. So I was like, let me just do a polish this time, just because I knew Envy was really good at making things look shiny and nice and fresh. So this was my second signature deck. This is the AOS V4, and the bottom has Times Square on there with the rose. The rose represents my grandma's name. She was the one that kind of gave me some inspiration to keep trying some basic tricks when I first started riding. And this whole bottom represents, no matter how beat up something is, you can see Times Square in the ruins. Got this idea from I Am Legend. No matter how beat up something is, there's always room for you to grow. There's still one rose growing in this entire mess of Times Square, which is really interesting because this deck reminds me of Times Square during COVID, which was later on in the future. But really interesting to actually look at it again. But I really love this. It was a huge honor to have a signature deck with Envy. Envy is my main sponsor. I've been riding for them for over 10 years now. So to get a signature deck with Envy and to have it with this meaning meant a lot. This is my first AOS V4. And we'll get straight into this. The next one, I'm not even gonna cut the clip because the next one is pretty much the same deck, but different color. And the reason why we had the same deck, because this was the limited edition. So for every AOS that I had, there was an LTD version of it. So this is the AOS V4 LTD. So the same exact graphics on the bottom with the rose, except now in oil slick. And the reason why I chose oil slick because I always wanted a color that matches everything. So we started with silver, can go on any scooter, and oil slick, same thing. Oil slick, no matter what color your scooter is, your bars, your fork, your wheels, oil slick's gonna match. And Envy's oil slick is the best. Like the way this thing looks, how you have the green on one side and then it has this gold, I mean, it's so good, right? So same exact setup, same size. This really meant a lot, this rose in the bottom, and it's really funny to look at this again because this reminds me of Times Square during COVID when no one was around. But this is my second signature deck from Envy, third signature deck total, so a real honor. Now my fourth signature deck, probably my favorite color. It's gonna be hard to see here. Maybe I can get some of the glare-ish right there, maybe. When the sun hits this thing, it has a holographic tint to it. But this is the AOS V5. I think this might be my favorite deck. I'm pretty sure. If I could ride this one right now, I would. It's just they don't make it anymore, so the last thing I'm gonna do is scratch this one and never have a fresh one ever again. But this is the AOS V5. So it's very similar to the V4. There's a few tweaks. Main thing is going to be the graphic on the bottom. And the graphic on the bottom is going to have that POV style look to it. Kind of when YouTube started picking up for me, I was in New York and I was making a lot of POV videos. And that helped kind of boost my career with YouTube and Envy and everything. So we kind of, in honor of POV videos doing really good, you can see that in between that taxi and NYPD hitting that sunset. That's kind of why I wanted to do that. The color was actually my favorite color because this color wasn't really too possible on deck ever. Right now it kind of looks dark, black, gray. But if you look this up, or maybe I can get a picture, I'll put it in the B-roll. You can see that there's a holographic kind of shine to it. Maybe not here because it's indoor. And it's really hard to get this on a deck because they use paint and anodize. Holographic is usually done with wraps. So you see my car that has a holographic wrap on it. So you can't wrap a deck properly or good. It'll come right off. But we're able to really nail this color. So it's almost like a holographic gray. So when the light hits, this thing lights up. Love this deck. AOS 5. I mean, I'm still riding the AOS 5 right now, just the LTD. And this was a real honor to have my 4th deck and my 3rd deck with Envy. So still my favorite. It's still my favorite. Even the bottom has a little bit of a holographic. Still my favorite. Favorite color, for sure. Now, the most recent is going to be the AOS 5 LTD. This is the one I'm currently riding right now. I might be switching out soon, but I'll let you know in the comments, and I want to hear what you have to say, what I should do. And this is AOS 5 LTD. So similar idea because now this deck is bigger, but the color was the same concept as the last one, but instead of doing gray, we used pearl. So this can also shine and reflect a purple and blue. And the bottom has the globe on it. And the reason why I had the globe on the bottom like this, because I was actually moving from New York, or I just moved from New York to North Carolina. And I wanted to, I mean, the Globe's been my favorite spot. I grew up there my whole life. Like when I was, the first place I ever went to on my scooter was the Globe. And I learned everything I know now from riding there, riding the skate park, riding flat. And since I was moving to New York, which was sad, but needed to be done, I figured I put, you know, in honor of the Globe with this gradient effect, because the Globe is always known for having those really colorful sunsets. I put the Globe back on the bottom. And the cool part about this deck is that we were able to get the graphic across the entire thing. Usually graphics are in the middle, but they were able to get the graphic across the whole thing, which is really good because, you know, you can still grind the edges and still have most of the graphic. And now the deck is wider. This one's like 5'1", wider for me. You got to see a lot more. AOS 5 LTD, this is what I'm currently riding right now until I switch. I might be switching to an AOS 6. And main reason is because these are either sold out or nearly sold out, so they're not making them anymore. And AOS 6 is going to be next. I'm not showing that here. I'm going to be making a custom build. I'm still healing. Might take me another 4 to 6 weeks of healing, so I'm making more videos like this. If you want to leave me something in the comments and say, hey, let's do signature wheels, because I have a whole bunch of signature wheels that actually have a lot of stories. That might be next. I'm also doing a custom build with the AOS 6. It's going to be interesting because that's actually a bigger scooter than I usually ride, but I think it's time. I think it's time to move away from the little guys, just because it is more comfortable, it's more stable, you can grind a lot nicer, things will feel easier in the long run. So these are my 5 signature decks that I've had. Will I get one in the future? I don't know. I think having 5 is a huge, you know, it's a luxury already to have 5. You know, I don't really know too many people that have had that many, so to have 5 signature decks is truly a blessing. I'm still gonna be riding this one for a little bit, or maybe I can't even ride for a few weeks, so maybe I won't be riding this one anymore. You let me know in the comments what you want me to do? Would you want me to hop on the AOC 6? Because that means I'm retiring this deck. So right now, the only thing that's going to be out is going to be the V6. If you can find any of these decks, I would suggest you scoop them. You probably can get a good price right now. I think NB's selling for $100. They originally released for like $220. If you can find any of the older ones, they don't make them anymore. So you can have one as a piece of memory in the years to come. But these are my signature decks, and man, over the last, I don't even know, maybe it's 13 years, 14 years. Pretty wild. Appreciate everyone who's supported me and bought the signature decks. Without those who support the decks, the next one wouldn't have been released. So that's kind of how that works. If you release a deck and no one wants it, then there's no point to make another one. So I appreciate everybody who's grabbed my deck. If you did, let me know in the comments, and then let me know what you think about putting on the AOSV6. I can't ride for a few more weeks, kind of making videos like this. If you have any other video suggestions for me to bring up in the meantime while I'm healing, so I'm still human, and it sucks, I'm getting really anxious, I want to go outside, but I got to do it right and heal right and make sure that my body's strong enough to handle. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are my signature decks. Leave a comment, leave a few comments. I asked you a few things. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. I'm trying to be a little bit more active now that I can stand and move around a little better. But in the meantime, there'll be some things happening on the channel. Working on one huge surprise that I thought I'd be able to pull off by next week, but it's actually being delayed, so I don't want to say anything. It's one of the biggest changes on the channel. It's really hard to make it happen. But I'll keep you posted. You guys are the best. Appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.